play with, and they won't feel like terrified or overwhelmed for some reason. And I want to make sure that every single one of them is happy. And so I'm going to go ahead and try to propose themes, and hopefully I can go ahead and find a group of people that will want to go to my party. So as you can see, just by these lists of people, Alice likes cats, does not like snakes, dogs, or snakes. Wait, that's really weird. Okay, I think that's supposed to be spider, and autocorrect kind of kicked in really hard there. So Blake likes cats, monkeys, and snakes. Chris likes ferrets and spiders. Chris is kind of a weird one. And then David doesn't like everything. So that's probably not going to work. Let me go ahead and just change this. 5, cat, snake, dog, spider, ferret. All right, so anyone have any suggestions how we can store this information? So I'm thinking about storing each one of my friends as a struct. And I'll call the struct a person, and then inside the struct I'll basically have a list of things that they like and a list of things that they don't like. And I potentially might want to add friends later, but right now I'm just going to go ahead and use this as input, and we'll see how everything goes. So let's go ahead and not use that to do code editing, because that's going to be horrible. Let's use this instead. So we'll start with pound include standard lib.h, pound include standard io.h. When you're doing allocations and such, you really want this thing. You want this library include, because this is going to be where malloc, calloc, and realloc are normally located. So with that, you can do it. Without it, I think that your program gets really upset and probably won't work when you try compiling. So this is a good thing to have. Bless you. So I'm going to go ahead and have some method that adds a friend somehow. And so this is called prototyping. I'm going to make it a void function for now. Hopefully it only needs to be a void function. We'll see how that works. And then our main function, I might end up expanding this as I go along, so don't mind me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create basically a command that's going to be called, it's going to be a string that will read in the command, so that way we know whether they're adding or we're done. And there's only going to be 2 queries right now. We're only going to add people or we're going to be finished. Technically, add is a very short word, and done is a very short word as well. But I'm going to go ahead and make it so that way it's a little bit longer in case I have really crazy commands later, like remove if something. We'll see how that ends up going. So define length as, we'll do 19 plus 1. I'm going to assume basically that there's 19 characters, and then the plus 1 is for the null terminator. If you want to do 19 here, that's pretty good, but then make sure you have the plus 1 down below if we're doing 19 characters and then a null terminator. So yeah, I'll just go ahead and include a comment. Length of strings is 19 and plus 1 for null terminator. So like I said, I want to make a struct that will represent our friend. So this is going to be struct friend. And then I'm going to have a list of things that will represent what they do and don't like. So, all right. How can I go ahead and store a list of things that they do and don't like? So those are strings, right? Each one individually. Would you guys agree with that? Yeah, all right. So then I need to go ahead and create multiple of those strings. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So I should just do... Is that good? Well, probably not, because I think that these spaces are bad. I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to end with a semicolon. And I think that if these are strings, it should be char star, right? You guys agree with that? But the issue is so I know that right now I only have a friend that has 3 likes. But what if I get a friend that has 6 likes? You won't be able to be one of these friend types if I just make 5 of these likes. Do I need to go ahead and code in 100 of these things, potentially? I mean, maybe I have a friend that likes a lot of things. It'd be really weird, but it could happen, right? What do you guys suggest? Yeah?
We have friend take in two variables for how many likes and how many dislikes, and then create two different arrays.
Okay, so we create an array then of likes, and then we need two variables as well. So this will be num like and num dislike. And so you said I need to create an array of these things. How do I create an array of strings? Yeah, do that?
2D array.
What?
2D array.
2D array? That's really cool. I never talked about that in class. How would I go about doing one of those? Did I talk about that in class? No. No? Yeah, I didn't talk about that. So I talked about 1D array. A one-dimensional array, I think you can kind of imagine what's going on. It's like there's one dimension to the array. It only goes out one way. I have A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But he said a 2D array, and a 2D array is interesting. So like in your like two-dimensional geometry, you have like an X coordinate and a Y coordinate, and that creates like those different blocks. I'm sure you've played with graph paper before, right? In the graph paper, you have like a 0, 0 and a 0, 1, and well, I'm going the wrong direction. 0, 1 and 0, 2 and 0, 3. But you also have 1, 0 and 1, 1 and 1, 2 and 1, 3. And what you can think about it is I have basically an infinite number of 1D arrays stacked on top of each other. Does that make sense? So that's really cool, and that'd be really nice if I could do that. So how would you go about doing that? Well, if it's like an array of arrays, because that's really what we get when we have a two-dimensional graph, right? It's like an array of number lines. We would want to make it so that way we have a pointer that points to a list of pointers, which sounds crazy, but it's a thing. And so how you do that, very simply, is by doing a pointer to a list of pointers, like so. And so this will be the like strings, and then I'll create a dislike string as well. Whoa. All right. That's a lot to take in right now. Is there anyone that has any concerns, comments, or questions on this? Not right now, probably. Maybe in a little bit when I begin coding more. We'll see. Yeah. So.
Can you make a 3D array? Don't you need the definition to do that?
If you're doing it statically, yes, but we're going to go ahead and do things dynamically, which we don't actually know how big anything is going to be until we get to the point where we want to access it. And when we get to the point where we want to access it, we also have the ability to potentially change it later on. So we're going to go ahead and do things dynamic. And how you do things dynamically is you're going to be using these stars a lot. So get ready. That's going to be a thing. Yeah, what's up?
So can you sort of explain like the double asterisk? Does that just mean like a pointer that points to pointer?
Yeah. And so let's go ahead and do this pictorially, because this is going to be really confusing the first time you see it, which is now. And it's going to be confusing probably the 10th or 11th time you see it as well. But hopefully you'll be a little less confused then than you are right this instant. And it'll be because of my amazing drawing skills. I feel like I'm missing at least 2 pieces of paper here. Did one fall off over there? No? Did I write on the back of one of these? No. I think I have a memory leak. All right. Oh yeah, you're right. Good job. I lost the reference to it and I panicked for a moment. All right. Yeah, that's not nerdy. It's not really. I've done worse things in class. All right, let's go ahead and write on the back of page 1 because that sounds like a good thing to do. All right. So what I want to have happen is I want to make a list of names. So we can imagine, again, this is like a 2D array. Yes. And so what I want this to be is this will be like CAT null terminator. This will be like DOG null terminator. This will be SNAKE null terminator. And like maybe I only have 3 strings, in which case if I have only 3 strings, this technically like would be pointing to garbage memory. And I want this to be able, I want to have this. I really want this. And so it's difficult to do. But like how an original string worked is we have like this X here, or str, and it points to basically the head of this list. Do you guys remember that? And when I said str plus 1, it pointed over to the next spot in the list. And so the string naturally will point to the start of a character array. So imagine this is my name. I don't know how to spell. All right.
Why is there 7?
Yeah, it's a root goo. Oh, I spelled that wrong. All right. All right. So no, this is how it works. It points to basically the start of a sequence is how a array works. And so if I have potentially a sequence of sequences, that would be a two-dimensional array. And so you can imagine I'll have basically something that's like some array, and I'll call it 2, so that way you know it's 2 dimensions, and it points to the start of a sequence. And then in this sequence, we have a pointer. And each one of these pointers will point to the own start of a different sequence. And they don't have to all be the same size either. I just kind of drew them like that. But you can imagine that we have a fourth pointer inside this. And it points to something that maybe is slightly longer. And so this would be allowed. This is perfectly fine. And you might have allocated extra memory. This might go even further, depending on what ends up happening here, just as long as we know that this is kind of like the end of our list. This is like nice if you have these null terminator characters. However, what if you don't have a null terminator character? You could potentially have int arrays. And so it's nice to be able to store somewhere else, maybe in a secondary array, basically the length of each one of these arrays. So you could have basically a length array that points to, again, another array. This is like arrays of arrays. It's crazy. It's array section. Is that how that goes? All right. No? No one saw that movie? You guys are way too young. All right. I think this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 characters. And so this is kind of what you would use to then determine exactly how long each one of these are. And of course, you should have something that tells you how long this is as well, so that way you don't accidentally start reading from garbage memory. That would be a problem. So this is how 2D pointers work. And really, this is a pointer to a list of pointers. And so how we do, for instance, when we're doing int arrays, we use star int, right? And if you did a char array, it would be star char. And so imagine we want to do a char array. Not at all confusing. Well, what we want to do is every time we make an array is we put a star in front of it. So you can imagine a char's array would be the star char, and then an array of char arrays would be star star char. And so we can get rid of the parentheses, and the computer understands what we're trying to say here. And so this is how 2D arrays work. This is why we use star star whenever we're doing 2D arrays. And I feel way too much time talking about this. Let's move on. Where was I at? Hello, computer. Hello, Travis. Yes, I like to do the voice for my computer sometimes. It makes me normal. Okay, So, all right, is anyone, yeah, question, sorry. Sorry, say that one more time. I'm hard of hearing. It shouldn't be before. I'm pretty sure like 90% should be before. If you do the star after, I don't know what that does. I do? I'll take a look at that. Oh, it's because I do int star. And so what int star says is int pointer. And I know that's confusing, but the idea is I want an int pointer pointer and then x. And so I normally do like int star star x. Wait, did I write that weird? I might have wrote that weird. Biscuits. Fingers. Come on. Dockham. Yeah, good catch. I meant to do char star and char star star. Yeah, that's confusing as shit. Dyslexia is a thing. All right. Oops. Well, the good news is someone caught that before I did this upload. Is that what you wanted to say as well, or do you have something else?
I have something else.
Oh no, another critique. All right.
So is that like when you do the double star? Is that like sort of like using dynamic memory and then like because I know like 2D arrays you can make them by using like 2 brackets.
Yes, yeah, you can do that. But the thing is, I want this to be more dynamic because potentially I'm a very fickle person and I can potentially change what I like and what I don't like. And so I want to give myself the ability to update that array somehow, potentially adding more to it. And by using the char star like that, it gives me the ability to point to something dynamically, and then I can then update that to a new array, and then have that new array be my set of likes and dislikes. Imagine in my mind, I might not even be adding something. I could just completely flip. Like love-hate is a really weird thing. If I want to go ahead and exchange those, I need to be able to do so. And I can't do that with static memory. Not as easily anyways. So that's why I'm doing this. Yeah, question? Or no? Okay. Sorry, I called on you. All right, any other questions? All right, let's see if I can get this finished. Tout it. All right. So this is all fine and dandy. This is going to be length. I meant to like finish that for a really long time now. I finally got to it. So now I'm going to do, while the buffer that I'm reading in here is not done, so I need to first read in the command that I'm getting. So how I read in the command is I do scanf, %s, because I'm reading into a string, and then I type in buff. Do I need to do an ampersand here? No? Why not? Yes, this is already an array, and so it's already technically a pointer. When you're doing your strings with %s, you don't want to go ahead and put the ampersand there, because you already should be pointing into a sequence of things, which is going to be a pointer. You know, that's a little bit confusing. I'm really sorry. It will get easier with practice. I recommend using a lot of reference when you're doing this, because it is hard for people to learn. Does anyone want to take a guess as to what might happen if I do put an ampersand there? You might say it will break, but because this is stored statically, it's actually not going to break. And that is really confusing for people because they will try it one way and it will work, and they'll try it the other way and it will work, and it's like, what's going on? Yeah?
Does it create a pointer to a pointer?
Yeah, so let's create pointers to pointers. So that's what that is doing right there. The char star star dislike strings is a pointer to a pointer, right? Does that make sense? It's like a pointer to a list of pointers. But the thing is, if I made my array of size 0, or size 1, I'm sorry, then that's effectively like just a pointer at that point to another pointer, because there's nothing after it, right? It's a little bit strange. You can do it a lot more dynamically if you're using linked structures, but that's not going to be for like at least another 2 weeks. Yeah, there's a question here?
Should buff be char star?
So I'm doing this statically because I'm trying to show both static and dynamic memory. So this is a static array. There we go, static array. And I'm going to also be creating a dynamic array as well. So how would I check to see if this is equal to the done string? So I didn't go over this explicitly, I think, but there's something called the strcmp, and the strcmp returns 0 if 2 strings are equal. So all I need to do is check if strcmp of buff and the dumb string is equal to 0. I should include the string.h since I'm using string operations. Alright. And hopefully I can get this done. Define add string, and the add string is going to be add. So if 0 is equal to strcmp above comma add string, then I need to add a friend to my list of friends. I don't have a list of friends though. I should create a list of friends. So let's create a list of friends. Mom always told me to make friends. Oh, this is not going to work for a couple reasons. One, that needs to be a semicolon. Two, I want to type def this. So type def struct friend friend. And what this allows me to do, it allows me to just go ahead and say friend instead of having to type struct friend every time, because typing struct before each one of my friends is probably really annoying for me. Alright, but the issue is my friends haven't been allocated yet. I really should go ahead and set this equal to something so that way I know that they haven't been allocated yet. So what this says is your friends, well, you're friendless. But don't worry, we'll add some, so I won't be friendless for long, hopefully. This is going to be really annoying because that means I'm going to have to do extra allocation on the null and have to do a null check. I don't want to do that. I really don't want to do that. I think I can get around it. I'll do some cheating that won't be very well explained this class period, but hopefully I'll be able to go over at the beginning of next class. So I'm going to have to also create how many friends I have currently, and also the number of friends that I can have, so my friend capacity. And so this is going to be a static, or not a static, a dynamic array of friends. So the reason why I'm doing a star on these, because you're going to be like, wait, Travis, you said the star means you're doing a 2D of pointers. That means I'm making a friends of friends. But what I'm going to be doing instead is I'm going to create a pointer to basically a section of friend pointers. So the thing is that these friends aren't of a static size. Actually, I guess they are. I could probably get away with. I could get away with that. I don't really want to though. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and write things down so that way you guys can't see it because you're on the wrong screen. What I want to do with my friend array is it's going to point to basically the section of memory, and then each one of these things are going to point to a friend. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I don't necessarily know the size of my friend. Although technically, because of how I have it coded, I do know the size of my friend, but it might not be the case where I know the size of my friend. It could potentially change, which is why it's safer to do this. I should say the size of my struct. My friends are going to remain unchanged, but the thing is, if I make a new struct, it could potentially have a more variable size to it than what I have right now, which is why it's really nice to do this. Additionally, by creating your list of friends this way, it's very easy to go ahead and move friends around. Maybe your friends are sorted by how much you like them, and maybe you really don't like friend number 1 anymore, and you kind of want to move them down, if you have a top 8 MySpace. People still use MySpace, right?
Yeah.
Well, back in my days, we had these top 8, and there was this one person that would get on my nerves sometimes, and I'd have to kick them off my top 8. It makes it very easy to go ahead and do this manipulation where you can move one friend to another location. If you want to go ahead and say, for instance, swap friend 3 and friend 1, all we need to do is you would say, hey, our friend array, yeah, there we go, array of 0 is now equal to friend array of 3, right? Okay, first of all, this is really bad because it kind of looks like I was one indexing and then I kind of changed to sorry, 0 indexing, and then I changed to 1 indexing like partway through. But let's just go ahead and roll with it. What issues might I incur by doing this? Does anyone want to take a guess? Yeah, no, let's go with, I mean, everyone's been called on at least today. Is there anyone new that hasn't spoken that wants to essentially say, oh, cool. Hey, what's up?
You end up losing, like if you set your friend 0 equal to friend 3, you end up losing your friend 0.
That might be a
There.
good thing. But yeah, that's a good point.
God
I
bless.
lose access to friend 0 at this point. So that's a bad thing. So this is bad. So what you instead want to do is you want to swap them somehow. And how you do a swap, does anyone remember how you do swaps before with like integers? Let's go ahead and call, oh yeah, cool. Yeah, we create a temp variable. We go ahead and have that equal one of the values. And then we go ahead and do the swap with the other two. And then we set the temp equal, or we set the other thing equal to that temp value. So yeah, that's really good. What we do is we'd say temp, and this would be friend star temp is equal to friend 0. And now we can go ahead and do this thing here. And then after we do this thing here, oh crap, it should be R. There we go. No one will notice. Yep. And then we do, oh man. We do friend 3 is equal to this temp. Array 3. Friend array 3 is equal to the temp. And so, by doing this, do a 3D. By doing this, we're able to go ahead and safely move one thing to another. And you can't see anything because the arrow goes off the screen. Let's zoom out a little bit. All right. So yeah, we go ahead and set this temp equal to one of our friends, the one that we're trying to swap. We go ahead and then do the swap with 0 and 3. And now the third one is stored in 0, but the 0th one is stored in temp, so we haven't lost reference to them yet. And then we can go ahead and just say friend array 3 is equal to temp. Hey, should we free this temp variable now? No, don't do that. Don't free temp. Alright, the reason why we don't free temp is because temp is storing friend 0. And so if you free temp, you'll free your friend 0. And again, it might be cool if you lose friend 0 depending on who that guy was, but we don't want to do that in this case because this is like maybe some database for some like group of students, and we don't really want to just lose reference to one of our students. That would be a bad thing. So yeah, don't free temp in this case. You will probably be doing it in other cases. It's a case-by-case basis. Yeah, that's really helpful, I know. All right. Let's see if I can finish a piece of code. I think the answer is no. All right, I'm gonna just power through this. The num friends is equal to 0, or capacity is equal to 0. If we're adding a friend, I should go ahead and see if I can create a new friend. So if num friends is equal to the friend capacity, then that means that our friend array is filled, right? We're at capacity. If our number of friends is equal to our capacity, we cannot add a new friend. So we need to go ahead and create a new array of friends. So we'll do friend star star new array is equal to friend star star, because we want to cast it or whatever, calc. And now I want to go ahead and increase the number of friends. So I'm going to do friend capacity times 2 plus 1. The reason why I'm doing a plus 1 is really a cheating thing, is because the initial friend capacity was 0. And if I did 0 times 2, I'd end up with 0 friends I could still create. And so I'm adding this little plus 1 guy here at the end, so that way I can actually add in at least 1 friend. And that's how many I want. And then the size of this, what's the size of this, do you think? Does anyone want to take a guess? Let me put this on the new lines, that way it's not as horrible to see. Size of what? Yeah.
Friend?
Friend? Unfortunately, no. That's a really good guess, though. Really good guess, yeah? Nope, not that one either. What? Number of friends? Did you say number of friends? Oh, someone back there? No, unfortunately. Friend star! You have a winner. Yeah. So the reason why it needs to be size of friend star is because we're creating an array of friends. And so each one of these spots in the arrays, it needs to be, or sorry, it's an array of friend pointers. And so each one of the spots in these arrays needs to be a friend pointer. And that's like a little confusing. What I'm going to tell you that's like a really cheating way to remember it, and I hope that you don't remember this like, I hope this doesn't become the way you remember it. I hope you actually learn why this is later, but like immediately. You look at the number of stars you have over here, and you always do one less star over here. If you have int star here, you do int here. I know it's a terrible way to do it, but it's how a lot of people can remember it on the foundation exam. So, there you go. Okay. The number of stars you have here is always one less than the number of stars you have on this side. In the size of, you always do one less star than the number of stars you have in the thing you're trying to create. If you're trying to do an int star, like an int array, you only have one star here, you will have no stars here. It will just be size of an int. Yes, question?
Can you give an example of when the friend objects would be of different sizes while you're using the double pointer?
Nope. So how that can happen is if potentially I'm storing a list of pointers to objects that could give two different types. And so then it would be nice to be able to have pointers that go to different things. So imagine instead of doing a friend star star, I was doing a void star star, and it's like really confusing. But the idea is I could have potentially friends and enemies inside this list. And maybe a friend, I would want to know, all these likes about them. And enemies, I might want to know, like, where they live as well, for some reason. So I'd have a little bit extra information in there that would then make that size a little bit larger. Is that okay?
But what if there's like arrays of different sizes within different objects? Does that not matter?
Those are called jagged arrays. Those are things that you might be learning in the lab if you go to it. Hopefully you'll learn in the lab if you go to it. I actually didn't explicitly tell the TA to talk about jagged arrays. I just kind of put it in there, and if you guys figured it out, then cool.
So you're just going to give everyone, like, every friend the max number of likes that you get every week?
Nope. I'll show you. Won't be able to do it because like we're out of time. Yeah, is there a question here? Yeah, you're right. It's a really good catch. That would have been a problem. Did you really like run this and see that it doesn't work? Is that what happened?